it's Nija. Welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about how to be happy being alone. So this video was actually requested by one of you guys. I received the comment and I was like, this is a perfect video topic because I find a lot of people struggle with loneliness, clinginess, neediness, and all things of that nature. So yeah, I'm really excited to touch on this topic, and I also realize it is a huge topic as well for people because of, you know, the pandemic and everything that's going on in the world. Some people, you know, got locked down with their significant others and partners, and some people got locked down by themselves. So it really is a lingering problem that is coming up in our subconscious mind or even in our conscious mind. Hey, where are my people at? Like, am I supposed to be alone? Is it okay to be alone? How do I become happy and being alone? So these are the questions I'm going to answer today. And as always, if this topic is interesting to you and you want to see more content like it, please thumbs up the video. This lets me know that this was helpful and insightful, and also lets the YouTube algorithm know that this content is useful and valuable to other people. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Now, you know that I cannot just give you all the tips on how to be happy alone without first telling you, for those of you guys who don't know, obviously the commenter who left this comment was, she's a smart lady because she understands the significance of knowing how to be happy while you're by yourself or while you're single. And even if you're in a relationship, sometimes it can be very lonely, which is kind of crazy to say, but it's true. So I'm gonna go ahead. As always, I have notes. I'm gonna let you guys know what I think, but first we're gonna talk about the significance of why it's important to learn to be happy on your own or by yourself. So this is what I had to say about this. Learning to be happy alone is a practice. Okay, it's a practice. It does not come innate to anybody. I mean, it might come innate to some people because obviously some people, you know, are introverts and just feel better being alone. But for those extroverts, and even for those people who are used to constantly having people around you, it can be very weird. It's a weird feeling to suddenly go from people wanting to be around you to having nobody around you at all. So understand that learning to be alone and happy is a practice, and it's something that you consciously choose every single time, okay? So yeah, sometimes you're gonna have a bad day, but you have to still learn to be okay and with being on your own, and also learn to, it literally is, it's like a muscle, okay? Learning to be happy when you're on your own is a muscle. It's a practice, and I'm gonna show at the end, I'm gonna share with you guys some ways to practice this muscle so that you can strengthen it. But first I have to let you know the significance, okay? So it's important for people, whether you're single or in a relationship, to learn how to find happiness being by yourself, being with yourself. So what people don't really realize is it's not really that you're you know, alone. You're just by yourself, literally, okay? And as long as you understand you're with yourself, you never really are alone, because even though you can't physically look at yourself, unless you're looking in the mirror, of course, you are your own company. You are the only person who is going to be with you from the day that you were born until the end of your life. When you take your last breath, it's all you, okay? You run the show. So I think it's like a Bible scripture quote or whatever. I'm not religious or biblical, but it says basically that no man will be by your side for all the days of your life, right? So what is that telling you? That you're gonna have to learn to be okay with being alone, because it is impossible for somebody to be with you all the days of your life. Even people who try to, you know, bypass their loneliness and clinginess by getting married to the first person they see, God forbid if something happens to your significant other, you're going to be really lost and confused, because you have not settled in with yourself on how to be happy and be by yourself. So this is the next thing I wanted to share. If you are somebody who feels the need to constantly be with somebody else, that is parasitic in nature, and also it's a sign of codependency. Now, I know it's gonna be like really like, ooh, you didn't want to hear that, like, ooh, I'm codependent? What? I'm parasitic? What? I know. And these are not positive traits, but the best thing is to realize and notice these things about you so that you can change yourself. So ask yourself this question: do I have a problem with codependency? Codependency meaning, do I feel like I constantly need to be around other people so that I can feel good? If you don't know how to answer that question, answer this question: do I know how to be alone and happy? If that is a no, then you might start to be developing codependent tendencies, which essentially means that when you become involved in a relationship, whether it's a friendship, a partnership, you know, like you got a boyfriend, you have a girlfriend, if you do not know how to be happy alone, you will produce codependent characteristics and character traits, and it is going to be a cesspool of toxicity, okay? Because what people need to understand is one whole person and another whole person come together to become one. If you're not whole with yourself, or you're choosing a partner who is not whole within himself, and you guys try to come together, you are going to be embarking on a lot of turmoil and hardship because you don't know how to be okay with just being alone and with yourself. So yes, if you're somebody who constantly feels the need to be with somebody, that's parasitic and it's codependent. And I'm not saying this to, like, you know, don't do this, don't be this way, but I just think it's important to notice these things about ourselves so we can make the appropriate adjustments. The next thing I want to say is ask yourself this question: why am I afraid or avoiding being alone? Okay, what am I running from? So this is a really great question to ask yourself if you feel like you might be suffering from codependency, from clinginess, from feeling like you constantly need to be around somebody so that you can feel validated, right? Ask yourself this question: why am I afraid or avoiding being alone? So a lot of people don't realize that we cling so tightly to these relationships and these codependent relationships because we ourselves feel empty on the inside, okay? And if you feel empty on the inside, sometimes we can cling on to other people to fulfill us or to make us feel like we have more going on than we really do. But the bad thing about this is once that person catches on to the fact that you have this tendency of neediness or clinginess, it becomes very unattractive to that person, okay? So you are more attractive to your partner, to your friendships, when you know how to be by yourself, when you know how to live in solitude but still be happy, right? It's like the ultimate thing that you could possibly ever do for yourself is being okay with being alone, because again, you cannot control whether someone decides to stay with you or go. So if you're going to have a meltdown every time somebody tries to leave you, it's going to be bad for your self-esteem, bad for your health, bad for future relationships you decide to join into. It's just all around a bad situation. So it's just really, really, really important. And I know I haven't told you how yet, but I still want to drill in the significance of why it's important to enjoy being on your own or enjoy being alone. And this isn't going to be like a forever thing. Like, you're not going to be alone forever, but you're going to attract higher quality partners and relationships when you learn how to be sovereign and to be happy on your own. You're going to be attracting people into your life who also have that positive attribute or positive character trait, and you guys are going to be able to, you know, produce more abundance in your life because you're coming from a space of, I don't need you, but I want you, or I don't need you, but I enjoy our relationship, I enjoy our friendship, okay? It's so significant. So let's continue. So if you are noticing these traits that I'm talking about right now in this video, understand that this is you. You can begin your practice of self-love and sovereignty. So that's really all it is. People who are clingy, people who are needy, people who are codependent, people who cannot find happiness in being alone, it's just a matter of improving your self-love. When we have self-love and we really love and cherish ourselves, our company is the greatest company that we could ever be in, okay? Your company is the greatest company you could ever be in. Why? Because you already agree with everything that you think. You already agree with everything that you say. You already, you know what I mean? Like, you get along with yourself because you are yourself. You know yourself. You know what you like. You know what you dislike. You know the kind of environments you like to hang out in. You just know yourself through and through. So learn to become your best friend, okay? Learn how to love yourself, okay? And again, if you ask yourself that question, why am I afraid to be alone? What am I running from? A lot of times people will find that they don't like to be alone because, you know, they have negative, toxic thoughts about themselves, or they're constantly having low self-talk, or just, you know what I mean? Like, there is a reason why people don't like to be by themselves. So again, plug this into you. If you're somebody who does not enjoy being by yourself, ask yourself why. It could be because you had a childhood trauma lingering, right? And you remember being in school and you were the uncool kid who didn't have any friends and people made fun of you. Therefore, you believe the answer is to always have someone in your presence. Therefore, no one will make fun of you. So you can feel valid, right? So understand, really dig deep to figure out why you're afraid to be alone. What are you running from? Do you think that you're gonna look some type of way if you do things by yourself? Is it like legit just pure loneliness, that when you're by yourself you feel so lonely that you just can't cope with it? If that's the case, again, it's revisiting your self-love and your sovereignty. What is sovereignty? Sovereignty is being able to stand on your own, creating your own doctrines, creating your own rules for how you live your life and for what you do, okay? Sovereignty is saying, I am a complete and whole system all by myself, and I don't need to plug in external things into me to run. I'm sovereign. I got this, okay? So, yeah, let's continue. So I wanted to really highlight this, okay? When we attract people into our lives from a place of desperation, from a place of neediness, from a place of codependency, okay, it's like stunting your growth, okay? Let's say, as a lonely person, you probably made it to here in life. Your full potential is up here, but because you're lonely and you think that you're going to satisfy your lonely needs and find somebody, you're gonna find somebody who is at this level down here with you, okay? So instead of finding somebody who's up here on this level, who is a sovereign being just like you're meant to be and can fully do things on their own, and so they don't need you, but they just want to be with you, when you find a partner from that lonely place, you are essentially opening yourself up to lower timelines, okay? Let's say you were meant to be by yourself so that you can learn certain lessons, evolve yourself, maybe grow your brand, grow your business, right? So let's say there's somebody who they just got out of a relationship. Those people can completely move like 5 years ahead of where they would have been if they had stayed in their relationship, because unfortunately sometimes relationships hold people back or stop people from growing. So think about if somebody is codependent, right? I need you, I need you, I need you, I need you, right? Having that clinginess, having that, you know, like I can't do anything without you, just really being very parasitic in nature. That person is only going to get in as far in life as their partner will allow them to go. Why? Because they're not running the show, their partner is running the show. So if your partner wants to be a deadbeat who doesn't do anything but sit on the couch and eat, you know, junk food all day, you are going to become that person as well, because you cannot, you've hooked your caboose onto somebody who had no destination, wasn't going anywhere. So it's better to be by yourself than to be with somebody who is going to bring you down or slow you down, okay? You are going to get further in life when you get where you're going and then try to find a partner or friendship from that place, rather than being so needy, so clingy. I need somebody, I need something, right? Those types of people are seeking external validation, but everything you need is already inside of you. So if you're always looking outside of yourself to feel better, you're never going to teach yourself how to feel better organically, naturally, on your own, okay? So it's possible to feel amazing by yourself. There are some people who can, you know, they have the best life experiences and they do it all by themselves, okay? Be your best friend, enjoy your company, okay? So again, when you join relationships or get into relationships out of that neediness, out of clinginess, a lot of shadows will start to reveal themselves. Let's say, for example, you get into a relationship because you don't like to be single, you don't like to be alone, so you're that type of person who jumps from relationship to relationship to relationship to relationship without giving yourself a moment with yourself to kind of understand and dissect why your previous relation didn't work out in the first place. You're going to keep attracting the same type of person again and again and again and again and again because you haven't learned anything, right? So again, you are opening yourself up to lower timelines when you choose to embark on a new relationship out of neediness and out of codependency. Whereas if you just spend the time by yourself, heal yourself, make yourself so incredibly happy with who you are becoming, and then meet somebody from that higher evolved place, they are naturally going to be a higher evolved person as well, because you're now vibrating at a higher frequency. Okay, when you try to attract somebody on a low frequency, when you yourself are on a low frequency, that's what you're going to attract, somebody on a low frequency. When you get yourself up to a high frequency, when you get yourself up to where you truly want to be, and then start looking at your prospects from that higher place, you are going to get better quality people and relationships attracted into your life. So this is the significance of not feeling the need to be with somebody, be with somebody, be with somebody. It's okay to spend time by yourself. And even for those people who just got out of a relationship and right after they get off the relationship, they're straight on a dating app, the same goes for you too. Like, yes, the dating app is going to help you to forget about your past relationship, but maybe you need to sit in that solitude, right? So that you can understand why things didn't work out, why that person wasn't the best for you, why, you know, like who really is it that you want, right? You won't know those things if you always have somebody in your face. You will not know yourself if you always have somebody in your face. You cannot know yourself if you always have somebody in your face, because you don't act the way you would naturally act when you're by yourself, when you're with other people. This is just a natural fact. Even people who have like husbands and wives and have been married for years and years and years and years and years, you know there's a specific way you act when that person is in the house, and you know there's a specific way that you act when that person is not in the house, okay? It's just human nature. We have two faces or multiple sides of ourselves, right? To see the true version of yourself, you must strip away all the external and excess noise from around you so that you can get down to the bare bones of what it means to be you, okay? And again, I wanted to say, when you attract somebody from that low place of neediness, codependency, and parasitic, you open yourself up to a lot of things like cheating, okay? People will cheat on you when they sense that you have low self-esteem and low self-love, because you only care about being with them. You don't care about taking care of yourself, loving yourself, doing what you need to do for yourself, okay? That opens you up to cheating, it opens you up to lies, it opens you up to finding clingy partners, it opens you up to having possessive partners that try to demand things from you and tell you what to do, okay? This is all toxic. These toxic traits that can develop out of a relationship with somebody who is clingy, okay? Even if your partner's not the one that's clingy, if you're the one that's clingy, you might get your heart broken because your partner is like, oh, she's always gonna be there for me. It doesn't matter what I do, she's always gonna be there. He can treat you like complete trash and garbage and you would still stick around because you're afraid to be alone. That's crazy, okay? Even with friendships, because you guys, listen, this is not just about like romantic relationships. This is also about friendships. Think about that person who always feels the need to call their friend every single time something happens in their life. That can be considered parasitic in nature, because you never just sit down and analyze what's going on in your life. Instead, you feel the need to put it on somebody else and have them make sense of what's going on in your life. Again, codependency and parasitic, okay? So I just want to say this last thing before I teach you guys how to get out of this pattern of being, okay? And that is, you are siphoning your energy as well as creating lower timelines by being involved in these types of relationships, of codependent relationships, of you know what I mean, like just needy relationships. You are siphoning your own energy. You are giving your energy away when you do things like this. So that is the significance of learning to be happy on your own, okay? Because so many things can go wrong just by refusing to be by yourself. Okay, so many things can go wrong. Okay, so now let's go on a brighter note. Okay, let's talk about the positive things, or how you can put this into practice of how to be happy and be alone. How can we put this into practice? Well, remember, being alone and happy is a practice. Just like you going to the gym every day is a practice, just like, you know, whatever it is that you do on a consistent basis, like meditating every day, that's a practice. It's like strengthening a muscle, okay? So if you're somebody who is not currently happy being alone right now, it's totally fine, because you can learn to love being alone, okay? So I have some examples of some things you can do to fall in love with being alone. The first thing I said was plan a date for yourself, okay? This is something that I learned to do, and I just love it so much. I love, like, when I put extra money to the side and I take myself on a nice date. And some examples is like going to the movies. I love going to the movies. Well, I used to love going to the movies before the pandemic and everything like that. So I haven't been since, but I used to love taking myself to the movies. I will go by myself. I'll buy myself whatever popcorn, candy I want, and I watch whatever I want, because I don't have to ask other people, do you want to see this? Do you want to see this? You know, I go when I want, and it's just the best feeling ever, okay? So, and this is a really easy one too, because you don't have to talk at the movies. You legit just sit down and watch the movie. So if you're somebody who has a hard time being by yourself, try that exercise of taking yourself to the movies. Also, something I like to do is I'll take myself shopping, okay? If you're a female and you do not enjoy going shopping by yourself, this is problematic, okay? And it's problematic because, like, you really don't need anybody to do these things, okay? You don't need anybody to go shopping with you. Why? So they can tell you that you look good or bad in your outfit? Well, you know how you look. You can see in the mirror. Do you feel like you look good, or do you feel like you look bad? Okay? So I really enjoy taking myself on shopping dates. I think that's really fun. Another thing, going out to eat by yourself is so much fun, okay? You can order whatever you want. You can, you know, order a drink, like get really saucy. You can sit at the bar. You can, you know, like just really have a really great time. So that's another way to plan a date for yourself. And then another thing I said was going to an event. So like if there was a concert or something like that, you can take, or like you want to go to the museum or something, like literally take yourself out the house and go somewhere, okay? And look really good when you do it, and you will feel really great about doing it, okay? So the next thing I want to say about how to practice that muscle of being happy being alone is constantly journal, okay? So again, sometimes people are afraid to be alone because they're afraid of what comes up when they're alone. They're afraid that they're going to have anxiety. They're afraid that they're going to start thinking about things that transpired in the past and feel really guilty, or feel really down, or repeat scenes in their head that they don't need to, you know, live in the past. So constantly journaling. I am a journaler. I love to journal. I journal every single morning. I will journal about the dreams I had. I will journal about the tarot readings I had. I'll journal about if I'm happy, if I'm sad. I will literally journal about anything. And this is such a huge, like, tool. Journaling is a huge tool because, again, it's a way for you to communicate with yourself. It's a way for you to check in with yourself. So if you're somebody who doesn't like to be alone, it's probably because you haven't developed an inner dialogue with yourself, okay? So journaling is a really great way to, one, enjoy being by yourself. You can go to the park, you can go to a coffee shop, right? Go by yourself, sit down, and just journal, okay? Talk about how you feel. Talk about why you feel the way that you feel. Talk about why are you afraid to be alone if you're afraid to be alone, okay? Talk about all these things. I'm almost done, so I'm gonna rush through the rest. Go on a trip by yourself, which is super cool, okay? Pretty self-explanatory. Plan a getaway trip for yourself. You will really enjoy doing something like that, okay? The next thing is spoil yourself, treat yourself, buy yourself jewelry, flowers, whatever you want, okay? Don't you dare expect a man to treat you like a princess if that's not how you treat yourself, okay? It doesn't make sense. So spoil yourself, buy yourself something nice, okay? Love on yourself. The next thing is physical touch, okay? Don't be afraid to touch yourself. It doesn't have to be in a sexual way. Even for babies, they say touch is the most important thing when a baby is first born. They need to have skin-to-skin contact with their mother, right? So same goes for you. Even things like touching your cheek or your shoulder or your arm is a really great way to feel less lonely because you're giving yourself the attention that you would want from other people. And then The last things I want to say is grooming yourself. Obviously, falling in love with yourself. If you know, look presentable, you like how you look, then you're obviously going to take more care of yourself, and it's going to become more fun to be by yourself, because it's just, you won't be, you know, like, it's just really important to groom yourself. You'll have higher self-esteem when you take care of yourself in that way. So the last thing I want to say is challenge yourself to do things alone, okay? You will attract the best quality of people into your life when you no longer feel, you know, so codependent or afraid to do things by yourself. So again, exercise, doing things on your own, like going to the gym by yourself, or going to get food by yourself, or going shopping by yourself, is a really great way to attract higher quality people into your life. Because again, if you feel like you can't do anything unless you have other people with you, it's going to be really hard for you to branch out and do your own thing, because you're only going to do things that other people want to do. You're never going to do things that only yourself want to do. Okay, so again, you will attract higher quality people into your life when you learn to do things by yourself. And the very last thing that I want to say is, people who can't be alone create far more relationship problems for themselves down the road. Okay, so I'll give you an example. I have this girlfriend, and she's been in a relationship literally all of her life. She's never not been in a relationship. She's always been in a relationship. And this is problematic for her, because whenever she goes through like relationship hardships with her partner, which everybody does, but it's especially difficult for her because she hasn't established, you know, like a sense of independence or knowing how to do things on your own. So again, when you're a little bit too codependent, you don't know how to do things by yourself, you expect other people to bail you out all the time, and again, you might have a victim mentality because you're always expecting someone to help you instead of just figuring it out on your own. Again, you're not always going to be alone. You're going to have friends through your life, you're going to have relationships through your life, but again, you'll have a greater quality of relationships in your life if you learn to nurture the first relationship that we ever have, and that is with yourself. Okay, so it's super significant to enjoy being alone, to enjoy, you know, being happy doing things by yourself, learning how to do outings and do things by yourself. Okay, because God forbid, if you ever end up by yourself one day, you don't want to feel extremely lonely and just jump into the next situation because you don't know how to enjoy yourself. Okay, so I really hope that this video was helpful. Thank you so much again to the subscriber who asked me to talk about this topic. I think it's super important, so I know you're not the only person who had like this question about how to be happy and be by yourself. If this video was helpful and inspiring to you, please thumbs up the video, as well as subscribe if it's your first time to my channel, because I post new videos every week. And last thing, you guys, I do offer group coaching now, so if you're interested in doing a group coaching session with me, you can go to nijasym.com/coaching to find out more about that, or for whatever reason, if my website is down or I'm remodeling or anything like that, you can just email me directly at nijasym@gmail.com. Okay guys, I love you so much. I will see you in my next video. Bye!